Good day, everyone. Ali Safi here from Safi Financial Network. Today is June 14, 2024. Here is another weekly edition for our analysis. So let's get to the chart, see what chart tells us. All right, so here is, let me just open up S&P 500 weekly chart because we had pretty interesting week. Why? Because we hit the all-time high, while some indicators actually are showing very, very strange signals. So let me just show you here. This is the S&P 500 weekly close, new all-time high, new closing weekly all-time high, and we just close of 54.30. So 54.30, and we are heading into this important area, which is going to be a 55.45 to 58.30. So why I'm saying some interesting signals that we are getting here. So here's the first signal. So this is kind of like important trend line for IMI. And as you see here, whenever IMI gets into this trend line and sometimes oversold condition like this, just panicking everyone, just getting below this trend line, this is kind of like a leading indicator. And whenever we get here, this means we are kind of like a poised for another rally to the upside. And just imagine, IMI is kind of like a leading indicator. Market already is in a bullish momentum. So this means potentially correction is coming for next potential 2 to 3 weeks, not next week. I would say following week. It's going to be minor correction, 2-3% correction, and then market just poised for another rally all the way up to September, October. So the period that I have here is August, September. We should see S&P 500 important top 55 to 5800. So this is kind of like a wide range box based on Fibonacci extension, based on the weekly chart. And another indicator shows buy signal here is MACD. Just MACD recently after this corrective move, consolidation weekly, showing us a nice buying opportunity. So whenever we get into MACD buy signal, while stochastic is getting into overbought condition, so this means RSI as well. So whenever RSI gets into overbought condition, so this means bullish momentum just fired to the upside. So this is pretty bullish signal, if you ask me, and we should see market just keep grinding higher. As I said, any pullback could be a great buying opportunity all the way up to August, September. So next 2-3 months, I should say, still market can keep grinding higher and continue its bullish momentum to the upside. So this is kind of like a weekly analysis based on the chart and based on the cycles and also based on the indicators that they have. I know market is kind of like a stretched out, and whenever we get into this kind of like a situation, we're due for corrective move like this or something like this. But this time, still, we are at the earliest stage. So potentially we will see some kind of like a hiking higher. Then June, July, we're going to see a hiccup coming down, and then very minor kind of like a correction to new all-time high. So that's kind of like the scenario that I see, and I don't see any kind of like a sell signal yet for the market. Yes, if we get to September, October, and if we get to some kind of like important level, we should see some kind of like an important top for the market, and we should just take it as a good buying opportunity or selling opportunity. Buying opportunity when market is coming down. And you know that election season is November. Remember last election season, just 4 years ago, if you just go back to 4 years ago. So here's the election season. So we went into choppy consolidation. And when Donald Trump lost the election, market just going all the way up to 2022. So this is kind of like an interesting scenario that we saw for the market. So for almost a year or two, market just went higher, and then 2022, just the beginning of 2022, market came down, big correction, and then after that, just getting back to the bull side. So this is kind of like the correction season or kind of like election in very, very nice scenario. That's going to be a bull flag. So you see that. So we are kind of like heading to that one as well. So again, August to almost November, we should see August top for the market. So previous election season, August, September top. and then market went into kind of like a choppy consolidation prior election. So when election happened, just the day after, markets start going higher, and it's just spiking all the way up to the upside. And this, I should say, this time is going to be the same. So market can go higher for another year or two after election, but before election, we will have some kind of like a selling opportunity or kind of like a bottoming phase for the next rally to the upside. Moving on to a daily chart. So let me just go to the daily chart, short-term analysis. We just see another doji bar here, S&P 500 consolidation, tweezer top. And you know that these tweezer tops are kind of like a minor signal for a correction. If we get any correction, I believe that that's going to be this consolidating area. SMA 20 is here as well. So somewhere around 5,400 to 53. 50. So this is the area that I'm just looking for as a minor dip for a next buying opportunity to the upside for S&P 500. Moving on to Nasdaq. So let me just go to Nasdaq here, Nasdaq chart. Let me go to weekly chart first. Here's the weekly chart for Nasdaq. As you see here, parabolically moving to the upside. Why? Because semiconductors are showing very, very nice strength to the market, and also big techies are grinding higher. Apple was kind of like a nice beneficiary or kind of like a booster for this hype to the upside. So Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, there are three main components of this rally, and all of them are at new all-time high or pretty close to new all-time high. So I believe that Microsoft, Apple, and also NVIDIA hit new all-time high this week. So there is no surprise if you see S&P 500 and Nasdaq, especially Nasdaq, goes higher as well. So this is kind of like the scenario. If we go to indicator, we see kind of like the same scenario here. So we got just a buy signal from MACD here today, actually this week, and also stochastic and RSI move back to overbought condition. So this means whenever we get kind of like a buy signal and while RSI and a stochastic get back into bullish momentum, this means this rally is going to just keep continuing to the upside and it doesn't fade soon. So any pullback, as I said, could be great buying opportunity. Nasdaq can go to 20,000 above. So we are kind of like a pretty close. We are at 19,675 and we are kind of like a 325 points to 20,000 benchmark. So this is kind of like a psychological level. It can go higher, but lots of people are selling when we are getting into this record. So this is pretty nice scenario. If you see that, some kind of like a people are taking profit at the top while the other indexes are coming down, and we can just get it another buying opportunity. Daily chart, we just got new all-time high today and new closing all-time high for Nasdaq, 19,675, as I said. Very bullish, overstretched, overbought. So any pullback could be very, very healthy, especially if we get back into this demand area. So that's going to be kind of like at the area that you can see 19,200 is very, very important level for Nasdaq. Moving on to US 30, which is Dow. Let me go to weekly chart here. So Dow is consolidating bearishly. So Dow cannot recapture SMA 20 on a weekly basis. And also, it's kind of like a forming week. So when Dow is forming week like this, I should say everyone just pay attention to heavy value names are not buying them. They are just piling money into semiconductors, big techies, and also Russell 2000 actually did very well last 2-3 weeks. So Dow or heavy value names are kind of like out of favor, but I believe that they're coming back to the favor of the investors as we are just getting some good levels for some names like a Boeing, like United Health, like a Humana, like a Bristol Myers. So they're all doing good at those levels. So lots of healthcare, lots of energy stocks, and also like big value names are kind of like underperforming just because market don't pay attention to them. But when Dow is outperforming, you should just be worried because people are just taking out money from technology and those leaders piling into big values, which is a dividend stock. And they just want to collect a dividend. They don't believe on growth. Right now, Dow is just lagging because of that. So market is just forming another higher low in a weekly basis. We need to get above this 39,000 or almost, 39,000 actually area. That's very, very important level for Dow. So all in all, we should just give market benefit of doubt for now. A daily chart, we just see kind of like a buyers are taking control. Whenever Dow selling, buyers just coming back. We are kind of like a seeing very weak correction. So when weak correction happens, usually it comes with a strong rally afterwards. That's what I'm saying. So right now, momentum is kind of like a flattish into oversold. And also we are kind of like a seeing another oversold condition, potentially next to 3 days in Dow. And that's going to trigger a rally to the upside. So the best case scenario is going to be 2 days correction. And then after that, I should say Wednesday or Thursday, we should see rallies coming back to Dow and big value names are coming back. And I see that in some charts are doing very, very well. So we will see how it goes. Moving on to gold, which was positive today. So gold, I believe that the cycle is finished. The low cycle is finished for gold, and we are just getting back into upside. So if we have a follow through on Monday, I should say we are done for correction. Gold can get back to the upside. The bigger trigger is going to be this top here. So when we get above this important wide range bar, this head and shoulder fails. Lots of people are shorting just because of this head and shoulder. And also lots of people are kind of like a shorting because of this head and shoulder and also this bear flag. But this bear flag today kind of like squeezing those shorts. If we have another follow through, recapturing SMA 2050 at the same time, getting back to this top of this candle, which is going to be failure pattern for shorts. And we can just see short squeeze. And when short squeeze happen, because lots of people piling into short, those short items or transactions, stop loss hit it and change to buy. And you see that marvelous exponential rally is coming to gold, which I believe is coming actually. And as I said before, silver is showing some kind of like the bottoming formation as well. If you go to silver chart here, this is very, very bullish signal for me. So this is a very nice flag here, just forming and ending diagonal. It didn't just show big sellers, buyers are coming back, just squeezing the short. And the next day, potentially it's coming back to the red day. But I should say this is a nice ending diagonal, and we should see some kind of like a pullback to the upside. We just need another follow through and potentially three drives here. So if you see three soldiers, what do they call it? Yeah, three green soldiers or something like that. So we have a tree confirmation in this bull flag, and we can see some kind of like a trigger to the upside. So that's going to be a fantastic scenario for silver. And I believe that silver is forming the bottom already. We just call this area as like a nice demand area in the daily chart. And also a weekly chart, if I just show you here, this is pretty interesting signal. So this is a weekly breakout. Silver just get there, nicely bounce back up, close weekly bullish harami. So this is a nice bad weekly setup. So we just need to have a confirmation next week for silver to see if it goes higher. Also, stochastic and also MACD is pretty oversold. So whenever we get this signal with MACD and MACD turnover to the upside, stochastic crossover, that would be huge rally to the upside. Look at the previous one. So we got a sharp correction here, kind of like exhausting, and then huge rally in just less than 2 weeks. Silver just getting almost 20% to the upside. This is a fantastic scenario, and we're going to see that again. I believe silver, gold are kind of like a beneficiary of the weaker dollar, which is coming soon. Moving on to crude, which was kind of like a positive today and forming a nice bullish consolidation prior this trend line. So when we see this pattern, usually this means this trend line is going to get weaker and weaker. And also this is kind of like a three drives to the downside, while we have a nice divergence here. So whenever we see this, especially in the stochastic and MACD, we should see some kind of like a digestive correction here with a consolidation, then boom, to the upside. So we should see some kind of like a rally is coming. The best confirmation is going to be we're going to take out this $79 to $81 top. So if we get above this, boom, the rally, back test, $90 is coming down the road. So I believe that that's going to be the scenario for crude. Moving on to individual names, so starting with Bitcoin, I believe that Bitcoin is in a bullish setup as well. In weekly perspective, especially the pattern is pretty bullish. Like I like this pattern here. So this trend line is very, very important. Trend 70 to 72. If we get back to the upside, I should say this is going to be a very bullish, but still there is going to be a chance to hit 60 to 62 for the last pick up the orders, the buy orders, as long as we are above this 56 pivot. So that's going to be a good for Bitcoin. If we get below 60, 56, this pattern it fails. So potentially we will go to lower low, which is going to be less likely. I believe that. I believe that this is very, very important pivot for BIT, and BIT can go to 60 to 62 as just the last buying opportunity to tackle 70, close, back test, boom, higher to the higher high. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to Ethereum. Ethereum is just touching this middle of this wide range bar, 33.56. That's the area that we look for. And also here is the demand area. So there are lots of demand here, 3,000, 3,300. That's very, very important level. I believe that this is the buyer area. Moving on to yield. Yield just a form of doji bar here after cracking this important pivotal point. If you remember that we were talking about these pivots. So this is very, very important level. And right now we are just cracking down. Any back test could be kind of like a sell to 4.50% to the downside. So we will see how it goes. Treasuries. Actually, this is confirming that yield is going to go lower, at least for a short term. We can see a top here. And that's going to be kind of like a corrective move to the downside to here to potentially backtest 93 and then getting back on the saddle for 104, 103 to 104, 105. That's going to be the level for Treasury. Moving on to VIX, which was positive today. Interestingly, 6% up. VIX is forming the bottom. So this means the stock market correction is coming potentially next 10 days. Dixie just a spike higher. Dixie is kind of like diverging from yield. And this is very interesting because this means money is piling into US dollar while bond yield is coming down. It's kind of like a confusing signal when Dixie is up, gold is up, silver is up, bond yield is down. So this is kind of like a recessionary period. This means inflation is going to go down. And also bond yield is going to go down, rate is going to go down. Potentially, we will see sharp sell-off in the stock market, usually. And that's going to be a potential for recession. That's the only thing. But I don't see any other indicators to show that. So I'm kind of like a suspicious about this move. I need to work on it to see if I get more confirmation from different indexes. Right now, it's okay. But definitely, we need to keep watch on that. Keep an eye on this. Moving on to magma indicator. Here is the bullish consolidation, not a bad session. Apple just down today after hitting new all-time high, second consecutive down day. So this is kind of like a corrective move, nothing more. Apple had a fantastic move. We need to get back middle of this candle, 200 to 202. That's going to be the level for test for potential rally. So this is very, very substantial move, and we need to have a correction consolidation. Amazon, uptick today, not a bad session, very, very minor uptick today. Meta, the same, 6 cents up. This is exactly the same thing. Microsoft hit new closing all-time high, as I said. Three stocks are kind of like boosting the Nasdaq higher. Google, $1.63 up. Netflix, $16 up. Bullish consolidation finally triggered to sell zone. And this is very, very important level. Tesla 2% down 2.44 after hitting this trend line. Tesla still needs to have a breakout above this $198 $200. That is very, very important. Moving on to SMH, which is the booster for Nasdaq and also the market as well. Semiconductor index goes higher. 68 cents up, not a bad session. Stocks, the same pattern here, 91 cents down, but buyers just keep grinding higher. Taiwan Semiconductor, 40 cents down, not a bad session, just a doji bar. AMD, 27 cents down today. AMD, I believe that it's just poising. So look at this. And then 4 days, new all-time high. So AMD is poising for another rally to the upside. So we will see how it goes. This is a very nice bullish consolidation, by the way. Moving on to NVIDIA. New all-time high today, $2.27. Not a bad session. Texas Instrument, $2.38 down. Lam Research, $2.52 down. Bullish consolidation here. Moving on to XLF, which is 13 cents down. But I believe that banks are kind of like doing better. KBE doji bar here. They may have another deep down. So if I see XLF, they may have a deep down to here to this area. If I see KBE, they may have another deep down to here to this area. KRE, the same pattern here, another deep down to this area. But that's going to be kind of like a buying opportunity, as I said. JP Morgan, 12 cents up today. This one can go double test this bottom here as well. Goldman Sachs, very good pattern, I should say. If it goes down, it's going to be surprising. Industry-wise, it is weak, but Goldman by itself, great pattern. If it was not, if I haven't seen KBE, KRE, and also XLF, I should say this is pretty bullish. Pattern is bullish, but because it is located in banking sector and those patterns are big, so potentially it can go lower as well. Bank of America, 2 cents down today, not a bad session. Wells Fargo, 13 cents up. This is a good one as well. So if it loses this pivot, it can just drop, fall actually to 51 to 52. GDX, 26 cents up today. It didn't follow crude, gold, and silver, which is question mark. So we're gonna keep an eye on that one. GDXJ, 46 cents up. AEM, 22 cents up. Newmont, 26 cents up. Franco-Nevada, 56 cents down, getting into this important area. Franco-Nevada, it can go higher, I believe that. The correction is kind of like about to end. And Gold Barrick here, 4 cents down as well. Moving on to XLE, which is energy. This one falls off the cliff. That's interesting because crude is doing good. Even pattern-wise, crude is doing good, but energy stocks actually are showing something else. XOP, which is oil and gas exploration ETF, $2.46 up, down today. Not a good pattern, obviously. OH, $8 down. It's just digging into this important demand area. Exxon broken down, and Exxon, I believe that it can easily go down here. So this pattern fails, obviously. So Exxon can go all the way down to here to this area. I believe that this is going to be very, very ugly one. So you can see 100 to 105 is going to be the level. So let me just put a marker here because the pattern fails here as well. So this is going to be the area that we can buy potentially. Chevron, 27 cents down. So Chevron can go test this 148. So this is very interesting. When crude is up and forming a bullish pattern here, but these stocks are not doing good. So something is fishy just beneath of the city. All right. I believe I covered everything. That was kind of like a comprehensive video. Hope you like it and hope you watch this until the end. If you have any questions, just please put your question down below. I try to answer that immediately. Have a fantastic weekend. See you on the chart. Bye-bye.